In this episode, we'll be talking about sisterhood, siblings, comparison, competition among siblings, and we'll also wrap up with a little bit of appreciation and learnings of what we appreciate about our siblings. So,
hi everyone, welcome to Viet Boss Babes,
a Vietlish podcast for modern Viet women around the world to listen, learn, and thrive in their daily lives. I'm your host, Mia Nguyen, and in this episode, I'm very excited to welcome our little special guest, which is my little sister, Bong.
Hi everyone, I'm Mia's little sister. I'm Bong, and I am turning 13 years old this year. So Mia just came home to visit the family for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I thought this was a really great opportunity to kind of dive in to talk about our siblings, because I think that with Vietnamese families, we don't talk about a lot about our emotions. We don't talk a lot about, the voodoo fluffy stuff, like what we appreciate about our siblings and like gratitude and like love for each other. I don't think talk a lot about that among Vietnamese families. At least it's not really common for us when we're growing up. We show love through act of service, through cutting fruits, or through manging a lot, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that your siblings don't come out becoming a loser.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a lot
like following like the right line, like being a good person.
Yeah. So. And making sure that they're cool. Right? Like protecting, like raising them to become a cool kid. So I thought this would be a really great opportunity to dive into that with my little sister. Just to a quick intro about our siblings. So there's actually 3 of us. I'm the eldest, and then we have Quang Anh, who is based in Montreal right now. He is 3 years younger than me. And then there's Bong, who is 14 years younger than me, so it's a huge age gap, but I think that
it's
makes
like
it
a whole generation.
Yeah, a whole ass generation gap. But even with that said, like, I don't think we're
that different from each other.
Yeah, you're like a carbon copy of me. Okay? Yeah, I think the first thing is let's talk about sisterhood and
be having siblings.
Tell me a little bit more about what it was like growing up with 2 older siblings that is a lot older than you.
Well, apparently it's like having second parents. Like Mia's like my second mom, and Kwang's kind of like my second dad, I guess. Kwang takes care of me when Mia's not here, and Mia takes care of me when Kwang's not here. And when both of them are here, they both take care of me.
And beat you up. Discipline.
I guess so, yeah.
Because you know what? It's like the stereotype of being the youngest child. Like you always get treated. Like you get away with a lot of things. Make sure that when we're home, we discipline her a lot to make sure she's a good child. You are a good child, so I'm very proud of that. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about, I moved out when you were, how old were you? 4,
5.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like I moved to Toronto for school, and then Quang Anh moved out like 3 years after that. So you were like 7 or 8. What was it like for you?
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you guys moved out, starting with Mia, I was, like, super sad. Because Mia was, like, super close to me, and she took care of me a lot. Same as Quang Anh, he also takes care of me a lot. When you move out, I feel like some part of the family is missing. I'm alone, and there's only Quang. Yeah, I feel like a part of me is missing. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And then when Quang moves out, I'm just all alone in the house. I started learning how to cook by myself, and then lots of things I learned by myself. It's kind of like being an only child when you're the only one home, because your parents almost only focuses on you, I guess, because your siblings are grown adults.
Yeah, all attention is on you.
Yeah, but there's also lots of stress on how I need to be successful, how I need to be smart, be the student in school. Yeah, it's kind of stressful.
Yeah, and then it's interesting because you said there's a lot of attention on you, but also you have to learn a lot of things on your own. What are those things?
I learned to take care of myself when our parents are not home. I'd cook for myself, I'd clean the dishes, I'd clean my room. I organized my time to have time to study, have time to play the piano, have time for dramas, and have times for my hobbies and also keeping up my grades. Yeah, I also have to learn how to stand up for myself.
At home.
Yeah, and like also at school, because like lots of things at school where I have to deal with myself. Yeah, I learned to stand up for myself. I learned how to make new friends. I learned how to adapt to like new environments really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And you were only 7 or 8 when you started on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you're 13. An adult. A half-grown adult. Yeah. I remember I would come home every winter break and I would try to spend as much time as possible with you because that was like basically the only time that I have with you physically. And I remember like really trying to be there for you within the short amount of time that I was home.
Yeah.
I remember it was like your first bike ride outside of our little gated community because it's like, you know, with
like
Vietnamese
a neighborhood.
streets. Yeah, like with our neighborhood, like with our in Vietnamese streets, like the traffic is insane, right?
Yeah,
and
like people drive so crazy.
Yeah, and then I remember you just learn how to ride a bike, and at that point, our parents are just so overly protective. They didn't let you kind of leave the neighborhood, and I was just at home, and I was like, this girl can ride a bike. So then it was you and me like riding outside of our little neighborhood and it was like so scary, but I remember you were like so happy to be out, right? You were
so excited because like it's kind of like my first time biking like outside of the neighborhood. So I feel like it's like a little adventure. It's fun.
Yeah, so it's like the little moments like that, like I want to make sure that I'm there for you even if it's like only like once a year or twice a year. And I think personally as the elder sister, like I do feel a lot of like guilt for not being there.
It's okay.
Yeah, like it's just like, oh, like she's growing up on her own. Like it wasn't like, because Kwang and I grew up with, like together, right? Like we went to schools together, we just have more time spent together, whereas you just like grow on your own. And I think early on when I first came to Canada, you were really small, so it was really hard to create that sibling relationship long distance. You didn't have a phone, right?
Yeah.
You were a little child.
I only had an iPad, bro. I was like an iPad kid.
Yeah, like the old dusty iPad that the whole family bought, like version 1.
Yeah,
basically.
it was like super laggy.
Yeah, like generation 1 when iPad first came out, like you had that dusty iPad, and so it was very hard for me to be there for you because you were a little child. But I think I'm very happy that recently, in the recent years, I would say I feel like when you turn like 10, 11, like you had that like your TikTok generation. You become a lot, it's becoming a lot like, easier
to communicate with each other.
Yeah, like we just sent memes all the time and we call. So I felt like I'm able to be there for you more, and there's just like more things to yap about now that you're like a more of like a teenager.
Yeah, well, it is true, but I heard you mentioning that you felt guilty for me to grow up all by my own as an elder sister. Like in that part, like you don't have to feel guilty at all because like, I got used to it. I got used to it really fast because I was a kid. So like when I was a kid, you guys already moved out, so I just got used to being alone, doing things on my own, going on walks alone, going biking alone, doing stuff alone, baking alone.
Or with your friends.
Yeah, with my friends. So I do miss you guys. Don't get me wrong. But I know that you guys have your own life. So like I know that like you guys have to take care of yourself, you guys have work, you guys have to study, you guys are really busy, so I tend to try to not call you guys as often so that you guys can do your work properly, have fun with your friends, enjoy your own life. So yeah.
Oh, that's so considerate of you. But I think first of all, it's very nice to hear that. I also know that we want to be there for you. Yes, we have our own lives and we are busy as adults, but priorities is priorities. Family is family. So I know we're keeping in touch a lot more actively now, and I want to even do that even more often. Yeah, so yap away.
Yap away.
I really like that you sent me on Zalo, you sent me a voice message. I think that's like super nice. Yeah.
I was just, honestly, I get really kiểu lười to type it out.
Yeah,
so I just like voice record.
Same. I feel like you like get a lot more across when you like voice message. I voice message my best friend all the time in Toronto.
And you can actually explain things with like all your fillers and everything, and like it would still make sense because like you're actually saying it and you're not just texting it.
Yeah.
So
no, that's like totally fair. Yeah, so I'm very glad to see how much of a good kid you've like become as like a second parent. Like it honestly is like really nice to see that you're growing up being like so strong, so independent, even if like our parents are very harsh on you. It's not because you have a lot of room for improvement. I think it's more because that's all the attention is on you. So, and they're like old. They're not old, but
they're like old generation.
Yeah, so I feel like there's obviously like for them like
it's
in
different.
Their mind they're like, why can't you think the way that we think?
Yeah, like why can't you be strong?
And then they forgot that you're just a child. You know, like you forgot that you're just a kid. So like always remember that the parents have like certain expectations of you, but also like always remember that you're just growing.
Yeah.
So speaking of parents, do you get compared to us a lot?
I do get compared to you guys, but I feel like our parents is just they tend to compare a bit like less than other Asian parents. I'm not stereotyping, but I know that Asian parents just tend to compare people a lot with each other. Yeah. For example, our parents don't compare like that harshly. However, when they compare, they'd be like, I don't want to compare, but, or like, I know that you guys don't want to be compared, but. So, yeah, being compared to you guys, it is stressful because I see you guys as like very successful people. You yourself are really successful.
Oh, thanks! And, like, a little validation.
And like Kwang is like really successful, and like Kwang's super smart.
He's gonna be a billionaire.
Yeah, he's gonna be like a president.
He's gonna be the middle child. He's gonna be the president.
Yeah, so it is really stressful for me because like it is really hard to actually get on you guys' level because like you guys are really successful, you guys are super smart, like also in academics and for example in sports too. You participated in many sports like swimming, tennis, basketball, like stuff. So it is hard to me to reach to you guys' level and it is really stressful. But I tend to keep those comparisons out of my mind when I just go on with my life. And like when I get to studying, I will think about it and then I would make them motivational. I would make them a motivation for me to study and thrive for my life.
Yeah, I think that's a really healthy way to think about comparison. And I know like, even for Kwang and I, like we get pitted against each other a lot growing up because we're even closer in age. So there's just like more similar experience. And I remember when Kwang does something better than is you feel like, oh, I need to be competing against him.
Yeah.
But now that as an adult, I realize that we are in the same team and we're all on our own lane. These competitions or comparison shouldn't be creating competition against each other, but it's more, as you said, like, how can I learn from my siblings? What did they do right? And what did they also do wrong? What are the mistakes that I can avoid, right? Just so that it's more like a guiding light than competed against each other.
Yeah.
And I remember also talking to mom about this too. I start to remind her a lot because now that you're a teenager, there's just even more comparison because you're becoming an adult, right? So I remind mom to not compare you and instead just focusing on celebrating your milestones as you and not as someone else, even as siblings or as compared to so and so in class or so and so's neighbor's kids got 5 rewards. Why did my child get 3? Like, it's very unproductive, and I told her that.
But then also, I think that without the comparisons, you wouldn't be able to actually thrive trying to compete with each other. Like, obviously not your family, because you and your siblings all on the same team. We help each other to thrive and strive for succeed. But without the comparisons with other people, I think that we just actually get the motivation to improve ourselves, to find the lacks in ourselves in stuff like studying, grades, or honestly anything. Being compared to other people is stressful. But if you take it as a good way to improve yourself, then I think that it is good for you.
It's healthy because you know what high standards look like.
So like you try to reach and strive for that high standard.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, congratulations on your medals in Korea. That was really
you.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
I don't know. I mean, like, I think I would.
Yeah.
Because it's really fun.
Yeah.
And I like debating. Debating is really fun. It's kind of stressful since like you only have 15 minutes to prepare, but it's really fun. You get to show off your thoughts. You get to express a lot. You would improve in your communication and you would talk much better with less fillers. Like I'm using.
It is, but I think it is all the US presidents. Most of them were in a debate club.
Yeah.
Kwang was in a debate club too. So maybe it's
debating
a good sign.
Debating is good for you.
It is good for you.
Yeah.
I was always so scared of debating. I never was. I was try to be a part of it here and there, but it's just always been so scary. Cool. Is there any other topics in mind that you want to chat about?
I think that the distance from each other. Sometimes we're just not as close. Sometimes I would be open to tell you stuff, but then sometimes I would not. Like emotional stuff.
Or stuff that you're going through.
Honestly, for me, I would feel like burdened to tell people about it. So I would just keep it to myself and try to solve the problems, solve the issues. That's honestly how I grow as being the youngest child, also the only one at home. I don't think that we tell our parents that much about those stuff, at least for me, because I don't tell our parents a lot about my problems, my issues, what I'm going through, especially stuff that relates to my emotions, because I know that it will stress them out or they not
understand.
They do care really much. They just come from the old generation. They just don't really understand what we are going through.
Yeah.
It is kind of hard. I really did try to open up, but since they just don't understand, and also I feel like it would just be a burden to them because they'll overthink about it and like they will get stressed about it because they're our parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really hard for them to find a way to comfort you, to actually support you during those situations. And for me, I just tend to not want them to be stressed out, not want them to be overthought. So I just keep them to myself. That's a way of me growing. Or I can just tell some of my closest friends. You know Sunny?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm really close to her, so like I would tell her, or Z. Yeah, I would tell her. So they'd comfort me and like they'd help me go through like those times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I tend to not tell family because telling family, I feel like it just makes you guys stressed and overthought. And as like the only child at home,
But you can tell me. I won't snitch.
I know. Like we've reached to the no snitching point of siblingship.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
We
don't snitch.
I feel like sometimes I tell you things. Even like I'm older, and I'm like I would tell you things that I won't tell mom because she
would overthink.
She like gets stressed out. If I tell her like, oh, I'm kind of sad, then she thinks I'm depressed. And I'm like, no, I'm just sad. Let the girl feel, you know?
Yeah.
Even with parents, they talk, I guess because the parent and I are quote unquote closer to age. So then mom would tell me how they don't understand you. And I just kind of being the mediator and also trying to be, part of me, yes, like I want to become the second parent for you, but also part of me, I'm just your sibling. So it's a balance, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you have problems, you don't need a solution. You just need to talk it out. Yeah. So I'm also trying to play that middle ground instead of always jumping into problem solving mode, because you don't need to solve problems all the time. You just need to feel it.
Yeah.
Let it feel.
Like let it all out.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Yeah. I think I shall also try to foster our long distance siblings by telling you my problems, because I think if I start sharing first, then you'll be more comfortable opening up about what you're going through in your life.
Totally.
Understand? So I tell you anyway, and then you have opinions, and then you're like, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of harsh, but it's kind of needed. It's like sometimes you like give me the facts.
I mean, like you have to face the facts. You have to face the facts, girl.
Dang, it hurts sometimes.
But it is right.
It is facts sometimes. Kind of just to wrap it up, thank you so much for tuning in. I think that was a quick, short episode, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about our family or our siblings, but also I hope that it resonates with a lot of you who have siblings, whether you're in the same city or abroad. Yeah. So to wrap it up, teach me a Gen Alpha slang because you guys have a very different language these days.
So okay, let me think. So for an English slang, I guess.
Yeah.
So when they say you're cooked,
what does that mean?
It means you're so done.
Oh, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're screwed. You're so screwed.
You're cooked.
Yeah, you're cooked. You're so screwed.
Oh. So it's like equivalent to you're screwed.
Yeah.
But you guys don't say you're screwed.
Yeah. We say
you're cooked.
You're cooked.
Okay, what does gagging mean? Like, oh my god, you're so hot, I'm gagging. And I'm like, what does that mean?
For me, I think from all of the TikTok comments I've read, I think that gagging just means you can't breathe. Like you're gagging yourself.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're so hot, I'm dying right now. Yeah.
Basically. Why can't you just say that? It's just so weird. You know? All your emojis are weird. We invented emojis.
We use it.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Yeah. Okay, what about one in Vietnamese? Một cái slang trong tiếng Việt.
Em không biết nữa. Tại là kiểu slang trong texting nhá. Thì we use lots of kiểu shortcuts. Xong thì Z, like J is Z.
Yeah.
Kiểu cái gì thì bọn em sẽ nhắn là cái gì, like J or CGI.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. CGI.
CGI is like cái gì, or like dễ thương thì là DTH.
What? Okay.
Kiểu dễ thương em kiểu mày dễ thương quá thì sẽ là kiểu MZTH.
Bro, that's not Vietnamese.
That
Không phải là
is.
tiếng Việt luôn ý.
Có, nó là tiếng Việt.
Like all the it's like all the two consonants, like they're all
Kiểu không có gì thì là KCGI. And then, ví dụ như là buồn ngủ nhá. For me, I would be like B, kiểu B, and then NGU or. Not
or.
Yeah, like ngờ. Ngờ.
What?
Ngờ.
Like nor.
Yeah, something
ngờ.
like nor, but like ngờ. But that's only for texting.
Oh, okay.
Makes you sound cute. I don't know.
Buồn.
I tend to text like that. I text xong rồi kiểu là ấy thì sẽ là LF.
But it's the same number of letters.
Yeah, but it's more simple.
What? But it's LA.
No, it's LF.
La.
Yeah, it's LF.
It's the same number of letters.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have to be like low. Rồi A, F là A.
Oh,
That's like
đau đầu.
That's too high maintenance.
So đau đầu. All right, so thank you so much to the audience for tuning in to our little siblings podcast today. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Bong, for opening up. Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
Do you do this?
Yeah, I do this.
Okay. Whatever. So if you like this episode, please leave us a comment and subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're all on there, and Instagram as well to support our little growing community of Viet Boss Babes. So thank you so much, mini Viet Boss Babes, for coming today, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.